Alrighty, I think I'm recording. It's cool. Alright, so I wired up a little thingy. Um, Basically, what I've created here is a emergency. We're being about to be raided, or there's a suspicious person. We need to lock down the base instantly with one click of a button, and it's this switch right here. It looks confusing, but most of this wiring will be hidden away in these boxes. If we implement this in our next base or in this base, I think we should do it next base, so I can kind of plan for it. We could implement it in this one if we want. I want maybe to make like a 2x1 where I can just house electrical stuff to make it easy for myself so I don't have to think too much. Basically, I got 4 generators. You can use wind turbines, it's the same thing. This is just easy in this sandbox world because I don't have to worry about charging a battery or any of that junk. And then I've got 3 root combiners. It splits those two into one, splits those two into one, then puts that into one. Then we have a splitter, which splits one connection to a switch that goes to another splitter that goes to an XOR switch that's connected to a splitter that goes to the door and our status light. So the blue means we are open, and so yeah, ideally we'll have the switch and the blue and the red light. The red lights can be placed all around the building, daisy chain them, so where when it's locking down, everyone knows it's locking down, the airlocks are closing. And then the blue light signifies safety mode, or low security mode, where all the doors are open. And obviously we're not going to put this on the front door and maybe the first 2 airlocks, so when we're just casually hanging out, we don't have to worry about turning the switch on and then the front door's open, because that'd be pointless. So we're just going to implement this on like a couple, airlocks in, obviously. But when we have 30 airlocks, if we can make it one button, it'll make it a lot more efficient. So basically, and then off the other splitter, just a switch that goes to a red light and the other side of the XOR, and then it just goes to speakers from the red light that's daisy chained. So we'll have these set up in the base, so we'll have like a rating thing, so we'll know we're being raided when whoever flips the switch. That'll be in like the loot room or near the loot room, or maybe a control room or something accessible in the middle of the base that is easy to get to when we need it, or somewhere, I don't know where we'll put it, but in a secure location, basically in one of the deepest points of the base. We may even make it so where we can use a radio frequency and you can do it remotely. That won't be that'll be pretty easy to implement. I may actually do that after this just to test it, but further ado, okay, so we're in standby mode, which is indicated by my blue light that's flashing. So this will always be flashing as long as all the doors are open. We're going to flip the switch because we're getting raided. Alright, we've got the alarms going, and we've got the red light of death, and the doors is closed. Okay, now we're going to turn off because we're back in standby mode, indicated by the blue light. Now you're probably thinking, well, what if the door is already down? Simply ignores it. So that won't be an issue at all. So if I go flip the switch, because we're in lockdown mode, everything else is indicated and the door is ignored and stays down. Now we get off of lockdown mode and door goes back up in standby mode. And as far as I can tell, it's very consistent. I haven't seen any issues. So I'll do it a couple more times. Lockdown mode. Okay, maybe we'll open it up for lockdown mode. So say a person manually opens, you can still manually open everything. It'll ignore it when it goes back to standby. And then, so say people are manually opening and closing and ignoring it because, well, they don't like to listen to instructions from whoever's the leader in charge of this shindig. Well, you just got to press this a couple times and it'll clear out all the entries. So, and we'll force everything closed again. Since it ignores the entries, that's already happening. So it's in lockdown mode right now. We can always add an extra switch there if you get tired of the siren. I think it's a cool little neat thing. It's all optional. The siren's optional. You could add a trap daisy chain to this, so where the front of the base, using a Tesla coil, gets all explosive-y and light up, and then auto turrets turn on and all that kind of good junk. basically whatever we want can be daisy chained easily. But I have the foundation of the wiring figured out. It's pretty simple. Hit that off. And here, I'll show you a demonstration real quick. I think it's mostly set up. Let's see, power. What we got here? Just a switch. Okay, I'm not sure if it should be still wired up. So we'll leave a couple doors open. The alarm should go off because this is before I did my special wiring job to figure it out. Like I do over there. So ignore this indicator light. Let's see. Is it working? It may not be working, to be honest with you. That's why I got tired of the battery, because it was relying to charge and all that. So, but I guarantee you'll ignore the other ones and it'll all work perfectly. Yeah, we're not getting power for some reasons. Oh, there we go. You gotta turn that one on. There we go. Now turn it on. We're in standby mode. Ignore this light. Here, I'll pick that up because it's annoying. Okay, so yeah, ignore the light. So say we're in standby mode. Close the door. It's not going to lift up when I turn the power off to it. So if I power that off, all of them come down. Then say we're in lockdown mode and someone wants to go move around the base. They open it, forget to close it behind them. Raid's over. Back to standby mode. They all come back up. It doesn't go down. So it stays synchronized. And then lockdown mode again. And they're all down. So it fixes itself if there's human error involved. So it's pretty worryless and very secure. I think it'll be fun to add. Maybe put like a control room at the top, behind all the doors, because the enemy gets a hold of the switch. Well, then they have access to all the doors. So that's the negative side, but you gotta protect it. So obviously the doors. I'd say two airlocks leading to the control room will block off. I'm not even sure that they could touch it without privilege, but I really don't know. I'd have to look into that. But it won't be too big of a deal as long as we lock it out. It'll be more secure in my opinion because we can protect it. We'll put like turrets in front of the room. We'll have to prepare to have a room for this, obviously. Like so. Honeycombed turrets, protection on this because this is a vulnerability if they get a hold of it. But I think overall it'll make our base a lot more safe and a lot more easy during a lockdown. We can focus on getting guns out instead of focusing on making sure every airlock's closed, because it's one flip of a button. And we have the signal light and the alarm. I plan on putting alarms, and I think that's cool. And then even from here we can right in front of this switch or in front of this splitter, we can put a switch here to turn off the alarms if we don't want to hear it, if we want to listen for footsteps. And then we'll have it labeled in the control room and everything. But that pretty much sums it up. Pretty simple little setup here. Threw it together, and I think it's pretty good. So standby mode. Back to defense mode, signified by the red light. Standby with the flashing blue light. So yep, that about sums it up. Kind of a long video, but now you kind of see what I want to do with the new base. Or I don't really know if we should implement it into this one yet, but the next base we build, I think this would be a cool feature to add. Peace.